What's up, guys? Welcome to week 4 of securing your online presence and profile. Last week we talked about Proton email, why you should switch to it, why you should get away. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. And today we're going to talk about Signal. Now, Signal is a replacement for standard SMS messaging that encrypts everything end to end with zero access, kind of like Proton, right? So this means Signal can't see what you're sending. And if the people don't have encryption keys, they can't see what you're sending either. You can also do video calls, group chats. You can send pictures. It's an awesome application. Everyone should have it. We won't go over how to install it because you can simply just go to the Play Store, or if you're on iPhone, the App Store, and get it. It's super easy to set up and integrate into your life, okay? So let's jump into why you should install Signal. So we're here on Signal's website, and we can kind of get a rundown on why use Signal. Share without insecurity, state-of-the-art end-to-end encryption. This is powered by open source technology, again, so anyone can verify the code. We can't read your messages or listen to your calls, and no one else can either. Again, if you don't know how encryption works, we'll go over that a little bit. We're not going to go super into depth, but stick around and we'll get to it. Okay? Privacy isn't optional. It's just the way that Signal works. Every message, every call, every time. Now, Veritasium has a very good video on how unsecure the cell network is. Text messages, phone calls, two-factor authentication through SMS. So I highly recommend you go watch this video. I'll link it in the description. But let's just watch a short clip from it.
This isn't the only attack. We can do a lot more with SS7. We can also intercept text messages as part of our suite of attacks. Similar to phone calls, we can trick the network into thinking the target is roaming, which reroutes their messages to our GT. We can then steal one-time passwords used in two-factor authentication. This type of attack works until the subscriber interacts with their phone network, at which point the phone reconnects to the correct GT.
But you need a few seconds only to hack into somebody's account, of course. You need that few second window to receive the one-time password.
So again, this is why I recommend not using SMS text messages basically for your two-factor authentication. Like I said, it can almost be worse than not even having two-factor authentication. You'd probably be better off with a strong password, right? Okay, so I'll link this video. Again, I highly recommend you going and checking it out. Now let's look at the founders for Signal. First we have Amba. I hope I'm saying that right. We can see that she was a global policy advisor at Mozilla, where she developed the positions on data privacy laws and network neutrality. Again, great for end users, the normal people. Okay. We also have Brian Acton. He co-founded the messaging app WhatsApp in 2009 before it was sold to Facebook, who now owns WhatsApp. And a lot of people are using WhatsApp. Again, you were giving access to all your data to these huge corporations, and everyone knows Facebook is one of the worst when it comes to tracking users and selling their information. So I would highly recommend switching if you're using WhatsApp, and if you're using normal SMS messaging, please switch to Signal, okay? They're a lot more open about what they're doing. We can see that Acton decided to leave the company due to differences surrounding the use of customer data and targeted advertising to focus his effort on nonprofit ventures. Okay, and then we also have Jay Sullivan. Okay, he was also a worker at Mozilla. Yeah, Chief Operating Officer at Mozilla. And he led major releases of Firefox during its ascent. He was an evangelist for the web platform and giving more choice and control when it comes to your online profile and presence, okay? We also have one of the original co-founders of Signal, Matthew Rosenfeld, and he goes on direct quote saying, "Perhaps law enforcement shouldn't be omniscient. They already have a tremendous amount of information." He notes the FBI already has access to users' call logs. What the FBI seems to be saying is we need this because we might have missed something. They're asking us to take a step towards a world where that isn't possible, and I don't know if that's the world we want to live in. He highlights that disallowing end-to-end encryption would make the world an unlikable place to live, as it would be true intruding of users' privacy. Furthermore, he has made his philosophy known, that government should not be everything. They should not be omniscient. Okay? Now, a lot of people have conflicting opinions about that, especially when it comes to governments. They want to know everything, they want to see everything. However, most people would side on the side of freedom, of privacy. You have a right to privacy. I think it's a fundamental human right, and right now you don't have any. So we're going to start working on fixing that. Just keep following along. Okay. Now let's also look at some history of encryption, right? PGP, Pretty Good Privacy, was founded by Phil Zimmermann in 1991, and he actually got investigated by the U.S. government because he basically made this application that could encrypt messages between people, and it was extremely difficult to get into, basically impossible back then, and they tried to get him in trouble. Actually, it was Joe Biden, back when he was a senator, was one of the big people leading the charge against him. They basically view encryption tools, right? Taking a message and completely garbling it so you have no idea what it is. That's what encryption does, unless you have the key to unlock it, right? And he got away, but they tried to charge him with arms like dealing for releasing this application to the world, right? Pretty Good Privacy is now owned by OpenPGP, okay? But there's some other protocols like GNU Privacy Guard that is kind of founded off of PGP, and we'll go over that in a little bit. I'll show you kind of how encryption works in a real life setting. Now, when it comes to encryption, we won't go super far in depth because it gets very complicated if you don't know how it works. But basically, there's a lot of different algorithms, right? Some of them are like RSA, SHA-256, AES, okay? Basically, these algorithms take computational math and they make it extremely difficult if you don't have what's called a key to unlock it. It's basically impossible to unlock this encryption, right? And the more advanced of the encryption algorithms you use, the harder and harder it becomes to crack, okay? Some of these algorithms with current like computational power, they could take billions of years for computers to crack. Now, this all depends upon how much computational power you have, right? If you throw more resources at it, you could crack it faster. But just know that a lot of times it isn't even worth it to try to crack stuff because of how good this encryption is, right? So now that we're kind of on track with encryption, let's hop into a live demo of encryption and kind of what it looks like, all right? So first off, let's view a text file we made, right? And it just says, "Hi mom, I hope you watch this," all right? This is called plain text. It hasn't been encrypted. Anyone who intercepts this can see it, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and encrypt this file, okay? So we're going to make an encryption key. All right? Now, first off, we have option 1, which is RSA. This is probably the most standard encryption algorithm used, so we'll just choose that, all right? The bits are basically how long we want the key to be, how strong. The more bits, the stronger the key is, but this comes with a trade-off, as the longer it is, the longer it takes to encrypt as well as decrypt. So you're trading security for speed, basically, okay? So we're just going to go with the standard 2048 bits long, all right? And we're going to specify this key that will not expire, okay? And for our real name, we'll put in Linus, for Linus Torvald, and for our email address. Now let's bring in some of the stuff we did from last week, kind of tie this whole thing in together, and let's use an email alias. So let's go ahead and switch to our Proton account. Alright, we're over here in Proton, and as we can see, we've created this alias called GPG. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and copy that, and we'll switch back to our Linux machine. Alright, we're back in here, and we're just going to paste that in. Alright, and comment, "Hi, Mom." And we're going to choose O for OK. And now it's asking me for a passphrase. You won't be able to see this. And we're just going to choose "Hi, Mom." Okay. Now again, this isn't a strong passphrase. Think of the passphrase like your key to get into this file, okay? "Hi, Mom" is a very bad passphrase, and it's going to tell me that. So I'll just hit OK. Alright, so now that we've got our encryption, let's go ahead and encrypt our file, okay? So this command right here will let us encrypt our file. As we can see, it's now been encrypted. Now let's go ahead and try and view this file right now, okay? So same file, same everything. We should see "Hi, Mom." I hope you see this. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like when it's encrypted. As we can see, this does not make a lot of sense, right? Like, what even is this? This is basically how encryption works, okay? It garbles it into a bunch of gibberish, and unless you have this key that we made, you will not be able to see any of the contents of this folder, okay? Encryption is used in a lot of things, not just Signal, but that's our demonstration of it. So we can see here, I would recommend going to Signal's website. You can get a lot more information if you're curious about what encryption services they're using, okay? Again, this far beats open SMS messaging. Signal is extremely easy to download it. Go on the App Store, download it now. You'll have to verify with your phone number. It's super easy to set up. Please start using it. Encourage everyone you know to start using it, because when it comes to your data and privacy, not only do you have to protect yourself, you also have to protect everyone you communicate with, everyone you talk to. Stop using things like Facebook Messenger. Stop using things like Snapchat. Stop using SMS messaging, okay? Facebook Messenger, it's encrypted with a lot of the same technology, but Signal is a non-profit organization, right? They don't make money off of profiling you. Like Facebook Messenger, for example, they might be encrypted, right? But do we really trust Facebook? Okay, that's a question maybe I don't have the answer for. You have to answer that. Do you trust Facebook with all your personal messages? Everything you're sending, your parents, your spouse, your children, Privacy is a fundamental human right. Please fight for it. Take it into your hands. This is my call to action for you, okay? Please get Signal, and please also donate to help them. They survive off of people donating, okay? Just like I said with Proton, you don't have to do it. But if you can send them $5, the price of a coffee, anything, it helps, and we can fight to take back our privacy. Who are you putting your trust in? With Facebook, an advertising company that's making billions every year? The same with Gmail? Switch to an app like Signal, non-profit. It's entirely driven by donations, okay? Throw them $5, the price of a coffee. They deserve it for protecting your privacy. Please switch, and please either send this video or just tell your friends, your family, everyone about Signal and why they should switch, okay? Thanks. And next week, we're going to talk about Linux and why you should install it on your computer.